Cricket presents The Campfire, and we are starting off our off-season football coverage by analyzing the private schools. Let's begin by taking a look at some TAPS and SPC teams in our film session. Can't start off our private school coverage without talking about Parish Episcopal. The Panthers will be going for their sixth straight state title in Division I. It's safe to call what Episcopal has going on a dynasty. As a matter of fact, you could have called them a dynasty 3 years ago. Now it's a mega dynasty. Sawyer Anderson returns behind center for his fourth consecutive year, and the Panthers are odds-on favorites to take home another trophy. However, Parish does have some pieces to replace, especially in the backfield where Maddox Reed has moved on. And they'll have some new competition to deal with. Jason Witten's Liberty Christian Warriors are moving up to Division I and will be a major test for the Panthers. The Warriors destroyed their opponents last year and took home the Division II state title with a 42-point win. They have to turn to a new quarterback in 2024, but they still have Chase Garnett in the backfield, and two-way star Brady Genesek returns as well. Dallas Christian will try to win another state title. Despite graduation hitting them hard, the Chargers do return experienced quarterback Luke Carney. In SPC, North Texas was shut out of the championship games, but Episcopal School of Dallas is hoping for a bounce-back year and a possible title run. Switch to cricket and get a new Moto G 5G for free. That's free, as in $0. Isn't that just mind-blowing? Smile, you're on cricket. For an even deeper look at the private schools, here's producer Ward Fasold and insider Matt Diggs with the District Breakdown.
All right, it is District Breakdown time, our first one of the summer. My guy Matt Diggs still basking in the glow of that Plano East state title in basketball. But I got to get his mind right. I got to shift his head a little bit to football. Not only football, we're going to talk the private school ranks. And anytime you talk private school ranks here in DFW, you got to start with Parish Episcopal, who is going for their sixth straight state title. And, you know, the funny stat there is they played 5 different opponents in the state title game. You can't even say that with Duncanville and DeSoto. Well, you can't say it with DeSoto, but talk about this team, man. Are they ready for number 6?
We're very excited about Parish Episcopal. Division I is a little bit more predictable, Ward. When I was doing my research for our TAPS talk, I noticed a recurring theme when I was going through Division I, Division II, Division III, Division IV, and I doubt you'll be talking about this on the Houston equivalent because we've got state champions all over the place here in private school football, and really the team that if you want to go a little controversy, I know you want to get those little 30-second clips to put on TikTok. I think Parish Episcopal is primed to be the next Jesuit because I think they've done just about everything they can do in the private school ranks. Division I, they're in the biggest TAPS football league, and they are absolutely dominating. And to me, I'm not really even seeing a close second. If you had to press me, Ward, I'd say Plano Prestonwood might be the team to watch, but when you got Sawyer Anderson coming back at quarterback, I mean, Parish Episcopal is going to be the favorite for that 6th championship. And it's not like it's just, the Sawyer Anderson show. You got Carson Darby coming back. You got Landry Sadler over there on the defensive side of the ball. So Parish Episcopal is loaded and ready to go, but I don't know if they've made their track, their non-district track, as strong as it was the last couple of years with Aledo. So I wonder if that'll be something that will play into things, Ward.
All righty. I'll talk to you next week, Diggs.
We'll post the entire breakdown segment this Wednesday on our social media pages. Now let's take a look at some game changers and our players on the rise. Starting in big games is nothing new for Parish Episcopal quarterback Sawyer Anderson. The senior has been the Panther signal caller for the past 3 state titles, and in 2024, he's looking to make it 4 for 4. Anderson has thrown for over 9,400 career yards and 109 touchdowns. Last year, he threw for an amazing 3,400 yards and 40 scores. Sawyer has verbally committed to Purdue. Another guy entering his 4th year as his team's starting QB is Luke Carney at Dallas Christian, and boy, has he put up some serious numbers as well. Over 8,100 career yards passing and 91 touchdowns, but Luke is more of a dual threat. Carney has over 2,000 yards rushing as a Charger and 21 more touchdowns. Luke is coming off a year where he had a 38 touchdown to 6 interception ratio and led the Chargers to a state title. Carney has verbally committed to Syracuse. One of Carney's main targets this year will be wide receiver Chance Abels. The big 6'3" wideout played at Naaman Forest and made some significant strides as a big-time threat. He caught 53 balls for 783 yards and 8 scores for the Rangers last year, and that was coming off a 50-catch season as a sophomore. Now Abels is playing with a Division I quarterback, and his numbers should go up quite a bit. Abels is verbally committed to TCU. At Trinity Christian, Jalen Beckley is quite the man-child on the Trojan offensive line. The offensive tackle measures in at 6'3.5" and 290 pounds and is a mountain to get around. Beckley works hard in the weight room, putting on muscle, but also perfecting his footwork to help him protect his quarterback's blind side. Jalen recently decommitted from Clemson and has offers from schools such as Oklahoma State, Florida, and Baylor, among others. Players on the Rise is brought to you by Parker University. Do you or your student want a career training the world's best athletes? Check out our bachelor's degree in strength and human performance today. Scroll, chat, and post, and anything else you love. Do it in a jiffy with Cricket's nationwide 5G. Smile, you're on Cricket. Our Ward Fasol cut up to Parish Episcopal head coach Daniel Novikov to talk about his Panthers in our Media Day segment.
All right, it's Media Day. We are in the private school ranks, and I'm talking with Parish Episcopal coach Daniel Novikov. Coach, I mean, we can't see your fingers right now, but we know you got 5 rings on them somewhere, 5 in a row. And I'm not going to ask you if it ever gets old, but does last year's mean more or mean differently than the ones before? Or how do you kind of differentiate between those titles that you won and the quest for a 6th straight?
Well, I mean, look, every year, the interesting thing about it is I think it changes from jubilation or joy to relief. Like it's become kind of the expectation and kind of what we do. And it each year we keep this thing going. The first time we lose is going to be an unmitigated disaster now, where at the beginning it was like, we're just trying to climb the mountaintop. I think it gets harder and harder every year to stay there. And that's the challenge, is trying to do things that nobody's done, trying to make history and trying to keep this thing rolling for as long as we can. I watched the New England dynasty thing recently, and it's, you kind of watch the behind the scenes of that. And there's a lot of, not that we're at the same level they are, but there's a lot of similarities for what they're going through and kind of what you feel as you're going through this. It changes from being overly joyed and satisfied to climbing the mountain to now you want to do anything you can to stay there.
That's an interesting take on that, man. I don't know if I was expecting that, because it's almost to the point where you don't really have that much time to celebrate. It sounds like your first inclination was, okay, we weren't the team that blew it, and maybe that sets in with you after all the celebration. Then maybe on the bus, it's like, hey, you turn around and say, hey guys, we just won a state title, and it's like, yeah, we know we weren't the ones that lost it. So that's an interesting take on that.
The crazy thing is, I can tell you, after at least the last couple of years, when the clock hits 0, you're excited for about 30 seconds, and you're immediately thinking about, all right, what's next year's team look like? How do we get back here?
I appreciate you talking with me now, and let's try to get excited about the 6th state title if that happens.
Yes, sir. We appreciate it. We're going to try our best.
All right. Thanks, Coach.
All right. Appreciate you. Thanks for your time.
You can watch the entire interview Friday on our social media channels. That's going to do it for this week's Campfire. Next week, we examine the lower classifications to find out who might be challenging for a state title. Until then, have a great week, everybody.